It's a brand new day with Mo and News. It's time to have your say. She's got the scoop, the stories, all the latest trends. Mo's got the news, let's hear it. My dear friends, from politics to showbiz, no story's too small. Mo covers it all. She's got the inside call, her voice so smooth, like honey in the summer sun. With Mo on the mic, you know the news is always fun. Mornings with Mo, the best newsy news in the world. With her style so classic and her stories unfurled. From morning till night, she's got us in the know. Turn on your radio, let Mo's newsy news flow.
Good morning, everyone. It is June the 21st, which means 12 years ago, officially today, I became a boy mom. Uh, my oldest son is like, "Yeah, I was your test boy." And I was like, "Don't say that." But there was definitely a learning curve involved with adding boys to this wild chaos that is my family. Thank you, Wolfram, for always doing your mod stuff. Thank you so much, Squabob from Rumble. Yes, I forgot that today was Prince William's birthday. I mean, had he picked correctly and married me, because you know what the English monarchy really needed was a surly, sarcastic American widow with 2 children already. But I'm just saying, Kate Middleton's okay too. Anywho, happy birthday to Prince William. Siri, good morning. Jedi Jess, good morning. Christine, I hope you are having a great Friday. Good morning, Audio Coffee and Squid Pro Quo. Everyone. Well, you know, it's sad to see our childhood heroes and or favorite actors or just people from The Sandlot behaving badly, but Sandlot actor Thomas Gurry was arrested in Horry County after bashing a Jeep with a 25 or a 35-pound dumbbell. This mugshot says probable to me. Now, I'm not a body, language expertologist or a phrenologist where they used to touch your head and figure out if you are criminally insane. But, this surly look, the vacant dead eyes, I could possibly see that this dude would use a dumbbell on a Jeep. Maybe he didn't have a rubber duck on him and he felt bad. I don't know. Horry County, South Carolina, Sandlot actor Thomas Gurry was arrested in Horry County earlier this month after allegedly bashing the windshield of a Jeep with a 35-pound dumbbell and going to the man's door with a knife, according to police reports. Gurry, 43, was charged with third-degree assault and battery and malicious injury to a person's property. He was booked into the J. Reuben Long Detention Center on June 2nd and released the next day on a $1,000 bond. Gurry is best known for his role as Scotty Smalls in the 1993 movie The Sandlot. He was 11 years old at the time. He also featured in other films such as Lassie, The Last Home Run, Wrestling with Alligators, Black Hawk Down, and Justice. Horry County Police responded to Winslow Avenue in the Burgess area on June the 2nd to investigate a trespassing or disturbance call. When officers arrived, the police report said Gurry was in the middle of the road asking about his wife's safety. The owner of the Jeep then reportedly shouted to Gurry, "Really? My window's been shattered," the report said. Gurry responded, "That sucks, man. I'll pay you back. I'm sorry. I'm going to get you back." Gurry later admitted to breaking the windshield, the report said. "I did it. I'm sorry, man. I'm coming back to get you. I'm sorry, brother. I'll pay you back." I mean, this isn't making Smalls, you're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. I mean, what's a dumbbelling among friends? I mean, what the hell? You can't just dumbbell somebody's windshield and then say, "Look, I was in the sandlot. I got you. I'm at least 100 air." Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out, Jedi Jess. It's not quite clear, but I'm sure with our inability to let Hollywood child actors gone rogue, uh, you know, sink into the spiral of despair and the pit of agony without media coverage full spotlight on, we'll figure it out very soon. The Jeep's owner told police that Gurry damaged his window shield with a 35. Okay. It is unclear what started the dispute. This is not the first time Gurry has been in trouble. In 2013, he allegedly headbutted an officer after he was told he was too drunk to fly on a Houston's Bush Intercontinental Airport. Well, I mean, who's been too drunk to fly? Also, with Boeing news and all the Boeing news, Moe's behind would need to be thoroughly intoxicated before she got her behind on a Boeing airport or airplane ever again. So I kind of feel with Smalls here. But good morning, Tammy and Nanny Goat. We need to bring up some of those boutiques, or there's these places where you can go in and they have a bunch of like cheap plates and old TVs and stuff like that, and you can just smash the hell out of them. I think if I become president, I will make it mandatory that every town in America has a break room where you can literally go break things because we are trying to digest too much crazy. uh, so we all need break rooms. I wish I had one, and or every person gets a punching bag sent to their home. It would help with our maybe fluffiness, but also our aggression. Well, in more good Boeing news, and maybe I can understand why people would need to be drunk and or medicated to fly. A Southwest Boeing 737 inexplicably dives and flies 500 feet over a neighborhood. I thought it was going to hit my house. Well, Boeing just can't catch a break. Um, Look, I'm not a spiritualogist, but I think you need to sage the ever-loving shit out of the Boeing, factories, and then you also need to stop being a terrible company focused too on profits and not on safety. I mean, one could probably be done without the other, but I would cover all my bases, maybe have a young priest, an old priest, an Orthodox priest, and saging, and then, people that worry about safety also come in. But I think you need the two-pronged approach now, Boeing. I think you've let too much bad juju in. Karma doesn't really like you popping off whistleblowers. A Southwest Airlines commercial plane inexplicably dived while landing in Oklahoma City, flying less than 500 feet over a residential neighborhood, setting off altitude alarms and frightening residents. The dangerously low flight of Southwest Airlines Flight 4069 from Las Vegas was recorded by transponders and caught the notice of air traffic controllers. Now, I will say, you guys, my brain is in no way to keep track of all of these things. So air traffic controllers, y'all are awesome because I would be responsible for so many bad things. I am totally not wired right to keep track of airline control stuff. Shortly after midnight, the Boeing 737-800 passed by Yukon High School after it was cleared to land at Will Rogers Airport in Oklahoma City, the Oklahoman reported. Southwest 4069, low altitude alert, an air traffic controller warned, "You good out there?" The commercial jet eventually landed safely after regaining some altitude and circled around the airport, the newspaper reported. Officials confirmed that the plane missed the approach when it first tried to land. The too close for comfort flying left nearby locals rattled. I thought I was having cool dreams about airplanes the other night, but I actually had a 737 buzz my house, one person wrote on Facebook. It woke me up and I thought it was going to hit my home, another person said in a local Facebook group, according to the Oklahoman. Southwest said in a statement that it's investigating the incident with federal officials. Um, yes, so having found my recent addiction to airplane crash, Mayday documentaries, yes, the NTSB will probably be looking into this, especially with Boeing being, um, somewhat under the spotlight. I think this definitely will be, uh, something that will be looked at quite thoroughly. Southwest is following its robust safety management system and is in contact with the Federal Aviation Administration to understand and address any irregularities with the aircraft's approach to the airport, the spokesperson said. Nothing is more important to Southwest than the safety of our customers and employees. Wednesday's startling episode comes as the Federal Aviation Administration confirmed to the U.S. To U.S. Today this week that it was probing how a Southwest plane dropped just 400 feet above the Pacific Ocean en route to Hawaii in April. That plane plunged at an abnormally high rate of more than 4,000 feet per minute before pilots were able to tug the plane back up, according to a memo from the airline company to pilots obtained by Bloomberg. So, yeah, I'm kind of okay not flying anymore. In a very sad story that I kind of debated on whether to cover, but you can tell that this man is just torn up and at a loss, emotionally because of this. Driver of City Department of Transportation truck appears inconsolable after unaliving and decapitating an elderly uh, person. I mean, I would be beside myself hysterical if I caused the injury or death of anyone else's loved one. So I could imagine that I would be in the same sort of shocked, hysterical, just sort of state. The driver who hit and decapitated an elderly pedestrian in Brooklyn appeared inconsolable in new video taken on the gruesome scene. The man was on his hands and knees at the time, hunched over in grief on a Brooklyn street as cops and a bystander tried to comfort him, according to the video that emerged on social media account NYC Scoop. The unidentified driver, who was wearing a bright yellow vest, was behind the wheel of a city Department of Transportation truck when he allegedly mowed down an 86-year-old man whom sources identified as Antonio uh, Coniglero. The octogenarian lived a few minutes walk from where the crash happened in Bay Ridge, officers said. The sickening footage also showed the victim's head several yards away from the rest of his body, which was crumbled in the crosswalk. And not to bring everything back to Karen Reed, but I definitely appreciate Rubia coming and explaining what some of those injuries meant because, John O'Keefe's injuries just don't seem to align with what at least my mental idea of a car crash injuries would look like. Again, I'm not a biomechanical engineer, but I have 3 wild feral boys who managed to get hurt all the daggone time, and There does seem to be some incongruency. Also, I lack the ability to visualize how this accident actually happened, so I do hope that the defense has someone with a little cartoon graphic that can explain to me what physicsology was used in this crash, but I do find it just almost baffling, disbelieving, and completely almost absurdist that this case, we still don't quite understand how this car wreck did any of this, but I will get back to the story. "Oh my god, this is a bad day," a woman can be heard saying on the video. She added the driver was turning down the corner onto Dahlgren Place when the crash happened, and at what is reportedly known to be a dangerous intersection, especially the walk sign. It turns on, but by the time you're in the middle of the road, then it's gone. Someone who is disabled or cannot walk fast, it's really dangerous for them. Bay Ridge resident Samia Haag told News 12 last week. The NYPD says that the investigation is ongoing and no arrests have been made. I mean, I feel terrible both for the elderly gentleman who lost his life, but you can tell that this man is going to live with it regardless of if there's charges or not. He is going to live with the guilt, the tragedy, the horror, being responsible for this for the rest of his life. I mean, he's devastated, and I would be too. So there really is quite a difference of how things were going on. In an update to a story we covered a little bit ago, in looting for justice or whatever excuse there was for mayhem, Philadelphia media influencer Meatball sentenced to 5 years of probation after she live streamed looting mayhem. A Philadelphia influencer known as Meatball avoided jail after she was arrested for live streaming rabid looters who raided several stores across the city's protests last September. Good morning, Heidi. Oh, uh, and congratulations on working hard for medical stuff. I had a person in my life going through clinical rotations this past year, and it is no joke. So, my goodness, you work hard and you get to where you're going. Absolutely fun, Diane. I I can't imagine when this is your job and you can't control if people are always paying attention or you just have a momentary lapse. I couldn't imagine. Let's see. Uh, I believe she is an influencer in Philadelphia. I have not personally watched her content, so uh, that's what people are telling me. The 22-year-old influencer, whose real name is Deja Blackwell, was sentenced to 5 years probation in order to complete 150 hours of community service on Thursday. Zach, thank you for the super chat. She looks like an ad for a diabetes product that didn't work well. As a fluffy American, I I don't wanna I don't wanna create fluffy on fluffy crime, so I she mug shots are never where you're looking your best, or if you're looking your best, you get a modeling contract. It's a very clear dichotomy. There is no middle ground. There is no, like, just, "You're okay." It is either you look like Nick Nolte fresh off a bender, or you look like that, model convict or whatever who got modeling contracts from his mugshot. So, just a word for the wise. It's either one or the other, and it's for most of us going to be Nick Nolte doing a Shrek impression, so try not to have to need a mugshot. Blackwell was originally charged with 6 felonies that included burglary, criminal trespassing, conspiracy, criminal mischief, riot with the intent to commit a felony, and criminal use of a communication facility. Uh, she entered guilty pleas for 2 of the charges, the riot with intent to commit a felony and criminal use of a telecommunication or a communication facility, according to Fox 29 Philadelphia. Now, her real crime was not only filming these, she maybe been a citizen journalist, she could have spun this, but she was actively encouraging her listeners, viewers, or what have you, to come out to the riot. She was encouraging thefts and different things. So, she wasn't just an innocent media influencer trying to report the news. She wasn't full Jesse Ventura. I'm just asking questions. She was actively encouraging criminality. Along with the probation, Blackwell must also pay a $10,000 fine. During her court appearance, Judge Zachary C. Schaefer asked Blackwell what the writing on her necklace read. "Baddies," Blackwell responded, in a nod to the reality show Baddies Caribbean, on which she made an appearance in its current season, according to the outlet. Also another show I haven't watched. Schaffer jokingly hoped to see Blackwell wearing a goodies necklace. Yeah, could you possibly not reference a crime show while you're in jail or, possibly going to jail? But I mean, it's a bold move, Cotton. And thank you, Wolfram, for gifting 5 Mo in the Deep End memberships. Those went to JD Fan, Heidi, Watchdog, Vince Clortho, and Sassy Pants. So thank you so much for those memberships. And you guys, if you did receive a membership, please give Wolfram a thanks. Following the hearing, Blackwell joked about the necklace conversation and thanked supporters outside the courthouse before calling the sentencing a setup. Sure, sure. Tell me how the ist and phobia got you arrested for filming crimes and encouraging people to commit grand larceny. I'm sure that this will blow my mind. Have you been talking to the Canton Police Department? I mean, I'm sure you have done the entire, equation of victim points and figured that you should never be arrested for crimes, but let's see. Quote, "Never coming back to this place again," Blackwell said on Instagram. Ma'am, maybe don't. Oh, dang it. Okay, I can explain that, and I need to go edit it. My oldest son is or was born on this day in 2012, so I always kind of think about everyone's birthday when I'm getting up in the morning, but so I accidentally put the wrong daggone number in there because of course I did. It can only happen to the best of us. But um yeah, okay. Miss Blackwell, I don't throw out, challenges to the universe. No one is gonna sit there and say, yeah. It seems like when people say, "Hey, it couldn't get worse," and then the skies open up and it starts raining piranha. I mean, I'm just I don't know. Like, this just seems like asking the universe to send a felony your way. I just want to take time to thank my lawyers and my supporters. If it wasn't for y'all or my lawyer, I probably would be gone. Thanks to my mother for sticking by my side. Later in the evening, Blackwell was on foot as she followed the looters into stores. Tell the police they're either going to lock me up tonight or it's going to get lit. It's going to be a movie, she said at one point in her videos. Blackwell's excitement soon diminished as the police booked the teary eyed influencer into jail. Blackwell, who has 962,000 uh, followers on Instagram, still uses the mugshot as her profile picture on her Instagram account. Uh, I mean, it's never good when you happen to just get arrested with your behind hanging out. Also, yes, filming people doing felonies, possibly gonna get you arrested. According to the Philadelphia Inquirer, Blackwell's social media following quintupled since her arrest. Nothing like rewarding bad behavior, internet. Police department credited Blackwell's social media posts for helping officers track down where the looting was taking place. It's almost like you would think government officials would have access to, I don't know, live filming of crimes. Ma'am, you must have had the blondest blonde moment ever, because she's like, "Don't worry, I'm incognito mode. It'll be all right." The mass rampage struck several businesses, including Lululemon, Apple, Foot Locker, and a liquor store. Free iPhones! Free iPhones! Blackwell yelled out. The mass lootings took place hours after a demonstration was held in the city following a judge's decision to dismiss charges against Mark Dial, an officer who fatally shot Eddie Isery. The interim chief of police, John Stanford, said the lootings were executed by opportunists who took advantage of the anger over the decision in the Irizarry case. It happens when we don't get justice in the city, Blackwell was heard screaming in one video. Yes, I am absolutely sure that this was all for justice. I find myself when I feel that, there's been a judicial injustice, I find myself needing to go to Lululemon, a place that doesn't have sizes to fit me, and, at least stealing a couple pair of leggings for justice and freedom for all. Are you kidding me? Can we just cut the crap? Look, no, people just want an excuse to go steal stuff. I'm sorry, don't try to put this spin on it like, for justice, I stole Nikes because reasons. I can't even do the math on the physics of this morality. I'll need Trooper Paul to come in with some numbers for me. Because this is don't lie to me and, pee on my shoulder and call it rain. Come on, I have eyeballs. I am relatively intelligent and have been a fan of common sense for all my life. So, don't try to sell me this noise. Y'all know I saw this headline and had to put it in here. It's almost like it's almost like the universe knew I needed a Friday furry story. I fell in love with a furry on OnlyFans. My friends have abandoned me. They don't understand. Well, ma'am, you pick your poison. I I'm kind of okay with your friends' maybe confusion and or fear. I I would be ecstatic if my friend met a furry and, fell in love because I would get my chance to ask all of the ridiculous questions I want to ask in the guise of be nice to my friend. And y'all know I would have, like, a notepad, I'd say, "Hey, for giggles, would you come on my YouTube channel? Because it would be, Furry Fridays diary." Like, I would be there with bells on and possibly an emotional support beverage. It's time they know it's for real. New York Post. I don't want to have to make a class action lawsuit against you. I'm I'm just lazy and I don't want to spend money, but I will if you keep assaulting us with these puns. Demetrius and Jade are just like any other young couple in love. Insufferable? Except Jade lives as a furry who makes a living catering very publicly to her fellow fetishists. Um, what does your girlfriend do as a living? Well, she dresses up as a cat in a bra. But we get to have all look at my new PS5. I mean, she works hard for the money. Oh my god, if the police remake Roxanne as to include a furry a furry reference. Tammy, I'd actually only just need one. Things that are absurd and weird like this are just my favorite thing. I love them. Mr. Mo doesn't understand. I have a bucket list that includes not only DJing a furry dance contest some point in my life, but also meeting the guy from Ancient Aliens, whatever his hair is always like this. But I just wanna meet him because swear to goodness, these 2 things have brought me many laughs when I have been in pain or just not having a great day, so I would be absolutely ecstatic, which is weird. The content creator boasts a successful OnlyFans account where she posts adult content of herself in full gear, a cartoonish wolf suit made of black, white, and brown fur. Y'all, I blame Zootopia. I blame Zoo-damn-topia. Disney, how much more can you screw up humanity? The creator oh, this type of getup can cost tens and thousands of dollars to create, she said. I mean, I guess it could, but why? A furry is defined as someone interested in humans masquerading as animals. Jade's unusual lifestyle may have given the average prospective boyfriend pause, spelled Paws. That's it. I need a lawyer. This punnery has gone on too long. It must be stopped. But the pair have been together for a year, the Daily Mail reported. Even after dealing with the significant rift their love has caused between Demetrius and his pals. Friends, I don't really have any of them uh, fi- left from finding out, he told an interviewer on Love Don't Judge, a popular YouTube series. The concern they mostly had was just immaturity, not wanting to do their own research, just listening to what they've been brainwashed into believing is true. Oh, yeah, it's a firspiracy. Because most of us don't wanna dress up as college mascots to get our groove on. But no, we're the bigots and small-minded people. We're the ones that are just screwing your love life over. Sir, you are making love to a woman who wants to dress up as a college fur fox mascot. Yes. Yes, I am sorry. It's a little weird. People are gonna snicker. Look, it's the same. At least you didn't say you were a foot fetishist, okay? You would have no family left either. So, Imma need you to, take that victimhood martyr status off of your Instagram if possible. But the couple who said that Jade's work covers their housing costs have become accustomed to criticism from all quarters, with anonymous trolls telling them things like all furries should be burned at the stake, which is not nice. Just not nice. Don't send that to people. Don't waste your time. If you don't like furries, just leave them alone. I mean, unless a furry accosts you on the street and makes you do the chicken dance, then they're not bothering you, and the internet has given them to us as an amusement, and you know, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. After the daring pair began filming scenes together, oh, Jesus. I can't. Your girlfriend does OnlyFans. Let's just start with that baseline probably not being a great thing for your, you know, long-term monogamy. It says he doesn't identify as a furry. Anonymous critics began attacking him. A dog effer, the couple said. Demetrius wasn't too fond of being with a furry. I know that, Jade admitted. The furry fandom is something new to him. Demetrius declared, I'm not attracted to the mask she's wearing. I'm attracted to the woman inside the mask. Y'all, sir, you are a fetishist. Just get used to it. How could you look, she has a very attractive figure. But if you are looking down into that mask, I have some questions about your ability to close your eyes and think of England, because your willpower, sir, of your schmeckle just, you know, taking one for the team. What is going on here? He also says he won't do anything weird, like drinking from a dog bowl or using a litter box, as some commented or committed furries do. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Yes. Yes, there is something wrong with pooing in a litter box. How in the year of our clown, 2024, the year of shenanigans and silliness, I feel like this shouldn't have to be a public service announcement, but I kind of want ABC to get back to the more you know kind of a public service announcement. Pooing in the litter boxes as a human, not good. Not good. We make adult content with fursuits, Jade explained simply, appearing to imply that there's little difference between what they do and the tens of thousands of other adult content creators flaunting it all online. Furries are just cosplayers, she said. These characters give me a different personality, which it makes me put myself out there more than I have a fursuit on. Um, I have a lot of questions. The couple met when Demetrius's old roommate held a furry party in their apartment, Jade admitted to herself to her current beau's bedroom where he'd been hiding out. It took him a while to like really understand what it was. Ma'am, he is simply placating you. You do have a very nice figure. So he can apparently put aside the big, weird, scary, lifeless dog mask that you wear while doing things. He's now her biggest ally. Yes, it pays for housing bills. The most important thing is when the support comes in from Demetrius and he helps me. He's there for me. He supports me through everything. Okay, Jade, do you poo in a litter box? I feel like these are questions that I would be asking. Feel free to contact me. Look, I'm a small channel, but I will listen to your persona story and everything. Now, I can't promise that I won't be laughing at the absurdity to the point I'm crying and possibly unable to render aid in the form of being able to verbalize beyond snorting, but, you're invited anytime to explain your, uh, Furtopia. I said to anyone judging us, "Look at yourself first, because you see 2 people that are happy." Look, just like the conjoined twin sisters who one of them got married, look, we're all about people being happy, but we have questions because you gotta admit that's an interesting situation. And you can't come out with a story like that and not have people go straight to that daggone issue that, is glaring and obvious. The FBI identifies a serial rapist as the person responsible for a 1996 Shenandoah National Park killings. Trooper Paul. Okay, so when you go into the police or a service, do they just give you a head shaver? I can't. Y'all, I can't, but it does. So, if the conjoined sisters, one of them does end up pregnant, I do think that there are going to be interesting legal issues about custody because I believe they share one womb. So technically, both are mothers. So, how would that work out in a family court sort of, arrangement? That is something that definitely, uh, I hope not. God, that was an interesting case. Nearly 3 decades after 2 young women were found with their throats slashed in Virginia's Shenandoah National Park, federal authorities announced Thursday that they have identified a now deceased serial rapist from Ohio as the person they believe is responsible for the killings. The bodies of Julianne Julie Williams, 24, and her partner, Laura Lolly Winans, 26, were found bound and gagged at their campsite in the park in 1996. The unaliving sent a wave of fear through the LGBTQ plus community, but the FBI said during a news conference Thursday that there's no evidence that the women were targeted because of their orientations. The long unsolved killings were reviewed by a new investigative team starting in 2021, said Stanley Medder, a special agent in charge of the Richmond FBI office. Recently, a private lab pulled DNA from several pieces of evidence from the crime scene and sent the genetic profile to the FBI's combined DNA index system, a database used by law enforcement agencies to match DNA to a criminal suspect. They got a positive match to Walter Leo Jackson Sr., a convicted rapist originally from the Cleveland, Ohio area. Metter said the FBI then got DNA from the original swab taken from Jackson when he was charged with another grape in Ohio, which confirmed the match. He said the recent DNA testing found there is only 1 in 2.6 trillion chance that the DNA found at the crime scene came from someone other than Jackson. This week, FBI officials were able to tell the families of the two women who they believed committed the killings. They've been seeking answers far too long, Metter said. Jackson, who worked as a house painter, died in prison in 2018 in Cuyahoga County, Ohio, at the age of 70. He had served at least 4 separate prison terms after being convicted of kidnapping and multiple rapes and assaults. The recent retesting of the crime scene evidence showed that both Williams and Wyans were SA'd, said Christopher Kavanaugh, the U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Virginia. Kavanaugh said authorities investigated whether the rapes and unalivings could be considered a hate crime, but said he found no evidence that Jackson knew of their sexual orientation or that he targeted them for that reason. Make no mistake, this crime was brutal. This crime was definitely hateful. Nevertheless, we do not have any evidence that the crime was motivated by anti-gay bias, Kavanaugh said. Authorities were vague when asked whether the DNA testing could have been done years ago and identified the suspect earlier. In 2001, authorities arrested another man in the killings. Daryl David Rice, a computer programmer from Maryland, was charged with capital murder, and authorities alleged he selected Williams and Winans because of his hatred of women and gay people. Rice pled guilty in 1998 in the attempted abduction of a female bicyclist he tried to force into his truck, also in Shenandoah National Park. He was serving an 11-year prison sentence when he was charged with the unalivings of Williams and Winan. The charges were eventually dropped after forensic testing showed hairs at the crime scene ruled him out as a possible suspect. Williams, who was from St. Cloud, Minnesota, and Wyans, who grew up in Grosse Pointe, Michigan, were both experienced hikers and were passionate about environmental issues, Kavanaugh said. They were hiking with a golden retriever named Taj when they were last seen by park personnel on May 24th, 1996. Their bodies were recovered on June 1st, 1996, at their campsite near Skyline Resort. Metter said FBI is continuing to work with other law enforcement agencies to determine if Jackson is responsible for other unsolved crime. Our investigation will never stop, he said. In Sir, you are a disgrace to the uniform and everything it stands for, and I'm kind of okay with going full Lord Chippy on this because there are actual vets who have a terrible time getting into the VA, getting their problems seen as, actually important and real. And this dude faked being paralyzed. Just an absolute trash, water, dumpster fire human being. Quote, people who play roles will eventually forget their lines. That's what Assistant U.S. Attorney Colin McGinn told jurors in Maryland this week when they began weighing the curious case of William Rich, a U.S. Army veteran accused of faking paraplegia while he collected close to $1 million in disability benefits from the Department of Veterans Affairs. Rich, according to the details from the indictment released by the Justice Department in 2021, is charged with 5 counts of wire fraud and a single count of theft of government property. Prosecutors allege that Rich pretended to be paralyzed and confined to a wheelchair after he was injured by a bomb that exploded inside an Army dining facility in Baghdad, Iraq in 2005. Indeed, as the Baltimore Banner reported, the bombing did happen and a concrete wall did fall on top of Rich. 2 other Americans perished. It is alleged that Rich initially reported to the Department of Veteran Affairs that he was 100% disabled and had lost the use of his legs. He made a substantial recovery after his injury, however, and was not considered paralyzed by the department after 6 weeks in rehabilitation and recovery. The Justice Department said Rich was no longer considered paralyzed by 2021. The Army Times reported that the VA Office of Inspector General audited some of Rich's claims and also conducted surveillance of him. The audit started in 2018 and lasted 2 years. Prosecutors say Rich was seen walking, climbing up flights of stairs, getting in and out of cars without issues, carrying items, bending or lifting things without any visible limitation or the use of a wheelchair. Yeah, if you're gonna pretend to be paralyzed, then, yeah, maybe you shouldn't be climbing upstairs. Yeah, I know Mr. Mo got, I think 90%, and yeah, there is definitely this is the most douchey thing to do I've ever heard. Rich is accused of using his disability benefits and Veteran Affairs grants to receive at least $760,000 to pay for personal items like a luxury BMW sports coupe, especially adapted for his disability. Though prosecutor McGinn painted Rich as a swindler, his attorney, Jared Reuter, said Rich was an innocent patriot. Okay. This man is a patriot. He is a hero. And I'll tell you what he's not, an actor and not guilty. Okay. Then maybe we're confused about what the words, excuse me, paralyzed means. So you could have severe back injuries or a lingering chronic, back pain because of this. But paralyzed means that your little dangly legs don't work. I mean, I guess this fires me up too because there is a very real possibility that as, I age and even though I'm trying to maintain my activeness, there are some days where I am looking into my future and seeing that I will either need one of those push walkers with the little seat on it or having the ability to just use a wheelchair around the house would be incredibly helpful when my legs are really hurting. So, and absolutely squid pro quo, sorry, but thank you very much for your service, for all the service members who served. Um, and yeah, that's the thing. He could have been partially or had, phantom nerve issues because of crush injuries. I mean, he definitely could have a lot of things wrong with his back because of a crush injury. But this is definitely, just spinning that sympathy wheel up to 11. So, sir, you kind of disgrace the entire uniform, and I'm okay. Uh, and all of us may need to go to the doctor, but what is this one common sign of brain cancer? This weird habit is one of the most common signs of brain cancer, according to neurologists. Well, if it's talking to yourself, I'll need to get in stat. When it comes to cancer, we hear about the importance of early detection, attending regular mammograms, prostate exams, and colonoscopies. However unpleasant it can be life saving, none of these tests screen for brain cancer. In fact, you may have never heard of a screening guideline for brain cancer, and there's a reason for that. To date, there is no approved screening tool, laboratory, or imaging that can detect brain cancer at early stages, contrary to mammograms, colonoscopy, or prostate specific antigen or PSA markers in other tumors, said Dr. Mina Lobis, MD of the Cleveland Clinic Neurological Institute. It's very important to be mindful of symptoms that require more urgent evaluation as early detection and intervention can have a significant impact on outcomes such as survival or neurological function in some type of tumors. But how? Even some of your habits may signal that you have brain cancer. Dr. Lobis and other neurologists shared a common habit that could be a red flag for brain cancer. Again, I mean, yeah. Also, if you have as many characters up in your head, talking back to yourself just means you're talking in a different voice. That's what I tell myself. The American Cancer Society notes that a person's odds of developing a malignant or cancerous brain or spinal tumor are less than 1%, with women having a slightly higher chance than men. Still, the National Cancer Institute estimates that more than 25,000 people will be diagnosed with brain or other center or nervous system cancers in 2024. Of note, some brain tumors are benign or non cancerous but can still cause issues like reduced brain functioning and even grow large enough to become life threatening, according to the Cleveland Clinic. Since no formal screening process exists, understanding brain cancer signs can help you seek prompt care and improve the likelihood of living a full life. The number one habit that could be a sign for brain cancer: trying to mask a massive headache with over the counter remedies. Well, it looks like I'll be talking to my doctor, but I think I simply have migraines. Whether it's habitually popping aspirin, why the hell would you use aspirin when Excedrin exists? Anywho, sitting in the dark or trying to mind over matter yourself out of feeling pain, these actions are important to pay attention to. Persistent headaches, especially new onset severe headache without with or without nausea, vomiting, or blurry vision should be discussed with a provider right away instead of depending on over the counter headache remedies, said Dr. Lobos. These especially apply to people without a history of migraines. Headaches accompanied with nausea in a person that does not have a history of migraines should be evaluated right away for a brain tumor, says Dr. Jose Carrillo, MD, a board certified neurologist and neuro-oncologist at Pacific Neuroscience Institute and associate professor of neurology at Providence St. John's Cancer Institute. Another neurologist shares similar sentiments, adding that another red flag is that you have more than a headache. These headaches are typically continuous, normally generalized, and worst in the morning when bending forward, says George Al Shami, MD, a neurologist affiliated with Memorial Hermann. Uh, does every lousy headache mean you have brain cancer? Of course not. However, ones with presentations that should be evaluated for brain tumors or something else. If nothing else, you'll get peace of mind and a $700, bill from your doctor and insurance, and perhaps a prescription that will help you feel better. Headaches and the constant quest to cover them up aren't the only flags to look out for. In fact, research published in 2021 said headaches were a leading symptom of brain cancer, but the traditional presentation doesn't always happen. It's important to understand other signs of the disease. If you need constant reminders to do something or remember someone's name, well, y'all, I mean, how does this not describe every single human being, or at least every single YouTuber, or just me in general? Oh, fun time. Over the years, I've seen many patients who could have been diagnosed sooner if these changes in their personality memory were identified, Dr. Carrillo explains. Also, note if you're habitually in a bad mood. Um, Look, I feel seen in a bad way by this article, but I will put out there that I only react poorly to adult human people that act like actual morons. So, I don't think I have a tumor, I just have a low tolerance for, well, dumb effery from adults. Call me crazy. Um, be aware of changes in personality, which can often be gradual over several months, Dr. Carrillo warns. I mean, could I absolutely, just, could one disease have like, or medicine have awesome side effects? Like, look, ma'am, we have to sit you down. You have brain cancer, which is a terrible drag. But on the plus side, this particular cancer will give you abs. I mean, God, could you just throw us a bone here? I mean, serious, for the love of effing all that is holy. Every single medication will cause you like epileptic diarrhea and, the loss of hair, touch, sense of self, and depression. But, it'll help you with your heart arrhythmia. I mean, this is just daggone ridiculous. Other signs can include seizures, vision changes, weakness, numbness, cranial nerve symptoms, including double vision, hearing changes, facial pain, facial numbness, and difficulty swallowing or speaking. Do many of these sound familiar? Brain cancer is often mistaken for a stroke in the emergency room, Dr. Carrillo says. However, the National Cancer Society notes that tests like MRIs can help detect or rule out brain tumors. Treatments for brain cancer do exist. Brain cancer is treated with either surgery, radiation, or more commonly, a combination of both. Dr. Shami explains chemotherapeutic agents do play a role in addition to new treatment options of immune therapy as well as electromagnetic therapy. It can sound overwhelming, but you'll have a team on your side. Treatment starts with evaluation by a multidisciplinary team, including neuro-oncology, neurosurgery, radiation oncology, to develop a personalized treatment plan. One factor in the treatment plan is the type of tumor, which plays a key role in the prognosis. A patient's prognosis varies based on the type of the tumor. Some tumors are curable, such as lymphoma, and others are incurable but treatable, such as a glioma. Scientists are still trying to learn more about preventative methods for brain cancer. The only modifiable risk factor that we know is about exposure to ionizing radiation. That includes radiotherapy for treatment of other types of cancer, such as childhood lymphoma. Dr. Loba says several studies have looked into cell phone use, dietary habits, and environmental pollutants, but there are no risk factors that have been identified as having a direct link to primary brain cancers. So there you go. Uh, a story about chocolate? Yes, we are here for it. People are traveling across the world to try the viral Millennia Willy Wonka chocolate bar. Interesting. I didn't know, but I'm here for more chocolate. Chocolate? I'm here for it. This confection is raising the bar. Though going all the way to the store for candy was extreme, chocoholics are traveling across the world to get their paws on a special bar that's only available in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Quote, it's worth every bit of the hype and is still getting, gushed one satisfied candy lover on X, not denying that it's pricey, but we've paid more for less or for mass-produced chocolate. Okay, if the price of the chocolate includes a flight to Dubai, then yes. The aptly named "Can't Get Knaft of It" or this $20 sweet treat entails a milk chocolate bar filled with crispy kanafe, a traditional Middle Eastern pastry, pistachio cream, and tahini spread. You had me at pistachio cream and pastry. You lost me at tahini. The convection is produced by a Dubai-based company, Fixed Dessert Chocolatier, uh, which specializes in tea, phyllo pastry, and other Middle Eastern inflected chocolate bars like a cocoa version of Bertie Bott's Every Flavored Beans. We take a lot of time and effort and put a lot of love into our bars. Fix founder Sarah Hamulda, 38, told CNN while describing these high octane holy grails. The so called millennial Willy Wonka started the company in 2021 as a side hustle, reportedly inspired by chocolate cravings she experienced during pregnancy, hence the name, which stands for freaking incredible experience. However, many products nowadays, it gained worldwide traction due to TikTok, a now viral ASMR video showing a food fluencer. Can I do that as my side hustle? I just need to con the entire world's chocolate conglomerates to send me chocolate uh, for science. I mean, look, I'm a connoisseur. Wow, just wow. I can't explain how good these are, she gushed in the caption. When a chocolate, a dessert, and a piece of art meet, that's what you get. Hamoda claimed that this international fame caused Fix Daily's orders to go from the single digits to 500, with KGKOI becoming her best seller. The Daily Mail reported, alas, this molten monster is only available in Dubai via chat food or Deliveroo, but that doesn't stop or hasn't stopped international cocoa heads from going great lengths to get their hands on one. Uh, Whoever is traveling back from Dubai to London, could you get me a fixed dessert chocolatier chocolate bar because I'm dying to try it, pled one fan on X. Another wrote, why do they only deliver in Dubai? I will literally fly there just to try these chocolates. I mean, I'm willing. If anyone, needs to have this tested out for science, I am willing to allow people to pay for me to go to Dubai, because what Dubai really needs is is a mouthy redhead. Look, they'll love me. I'm sure they love Lucille Ball. It'll be ooh. But anyway, I mean, I'm willing to take the personal journey to Dubai on someone else's dimes to to try all of these chocolate bars, because $20 a chocolate bar, it better fold some daggone laundry or put me to sleep at night. I don't know. It's insane what's been happening, exclaimed Hamoda, who has reportedly gotten messages and video responses from people from Canada to Argentina praising her creation. Indeed, it appears that flavor was worth the pilgrimage for many. The fixed dessert chocolate tier chocolate has arrived. I do hope my cousin appreciates it. Fond one fan. The thick, robust bars invoke memories of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, a cherished childhood book, with the original film holding a high place of importance in my life. The taste is credit to the meticulousness and care with which these chocolate bars are created. All the sweets are handmade, including the colorful designs, and each is packed and filled using the signature mold. For me, it's really important to maintain the quality and the ingredients of our products. Unfortunately, this intensive product or process mitigates the number that Fix can churn out. Despite capping sales of the 200-gram bars at 500 orders per day, they often sell out within minutes. Fortunately, some TikTokers have managed to circumvent the scarcity by MacGyvering their own can't get enough of it at home. Fortunately, even off brand imitations proved to be scrumptious, per a TikTok foodie, Susie Hendricks, who cobbled one of these bars together using ingredients sourced from her neighborhood Middle Eastern supermarket. I can't take it anymore. I've been watching people enjoy this viral pistachio chocolate bar only in Dubai and had to try to make it, she gushed in a video with nearly 2 million views. Or, I'm sorry, 20 million views. And it's everything I dreamt it would be. Now I want a chocolate bar from Dubai. A woman suffers a permanent injury at SeaWorld after fellow guests violently collided with her on a water slide. Water slides are just not having a great year. We had that Disney thing, and then the woman who I think was also at maybe Universal and got hurt on a nearly like straight down water slide. So just not a great year for Boeing or water slides. A Florida woman has filed a lawsuit against SeaWorld after she claims she was injured when she was hit by someone on a water slide. Melissa Vasquez is suing SeaWorld Parks and Entertainment Incorporated. According to the lawsuit filed last week in Orange County's Ninth Judicial Circuit Court, the suit said Vasquez of Vero Beach was visiting Aquatica, a water park owned and operated by SeaWorld, on June 25th, 2023. Vasquez had just gone down the Walkabout Water slide. As she stood up to walk away, another person came down the slide and violently collided into her, causing her to sustain severe and permanent injuries, according to the lawsuit, first reported by Orlando Fox affiliate WOFL. Her attorney, Nicholas J. Septas, noted that there was no lifeguard or employee at the slide monitoring traffic or overseeing people using it. Quote, at all times, material Defendant owed plaintiff a duty to use reasonable care in maintaining its premises in a reasonably safe condition, including but not limited to properly staffing and supervising its water slides, the lawsuit said. Septis argued that the water park had been negligent and allowed an unreasonably dangerous and defective condition to be created and or to remain on its premises. SeaWorld also failed to properly train its employees and to implement safety policies and monitor its water slides, the lawsuit said. The dangerous condition existed for a sufficient period of time such that a reasonable person, including the defendant, knew or should have discovered and corrected or warned of risks and hazards and dangerous conditions, Septis argued. Vasquez suffered permanent injury and incurred expenses of hospitalization, medical and nursing care treatment, and loss of ability to earn money and loss of ability to lead and enjoy a normal life. She's asking for at least $50,000. SeaWorld did not respond. Well, you know what? Teens are doing some really cool creative things with their prom dresses now. A teen crochets her own Zendaya-inspired prom dress for $60, and I love me a kid that has frugality on their mind in just 3 days. Sarah Akinbua's pink strapless floor-length gown comes complete with a matching crocheted floor-length shrug and crocheted handbag. I mean, it's beautiful, and she did it all by herself. A Boston teenager is going viral after crocheting her own floor-length Zendaya-inspired prom dress for just $60. Sarah tells People in an exclusive interview that she was invited to someone else's prom on a date, but they told her she would just have 4 days to prepare. An avid crocheter, Sarah was determined to make her own dress. So I had to make a dress by hand, Sarah, 18, tells People. So she did, and her pink strapless four-length gown, complete with crocheted roses on the lower half and a matching crocheted floor-length shrug and crocheted handbag, took her just 3 days to complete. The inspiration behind the look was a pink strapless gown designed by Valentino Haute Couture and adorned with 190 roses on the skirt, worn by Zendaya at the 2023 SAG Awards. Sarah's video showing behind-the-scene process of her creating her prom look has garnered more than 26 million views. Another video posted to TikTok shows her wearing the dress in a public restroom, while an onlooker admires her handiwork. "I love your dress," the person can be heard saying in the background. "Thank you, I made it," Sarah responded, added, "It took me 3 days." Speaking to People, Sarah says, "My friend loved the dress and I got tons of compliments." Still, crocheting a floor-length gown in just 3 days is not for the faint of heart. Despite her young age, Sarah is no novice to her craft. "I've been crocheting since I was 12, she said. In addition to designing and crocheting her own prom dress, Sarah says she also makes custom orders for her friends, family members, and social media followers. As for her life after high school, perhaps unsurprisingly, Sarah wants to be a fashion designer. So I wish she had the best luck. I think this is great. I love seeing kids doing stuff with their own creativity and, things that they know how to do. So this is really awesome to see. Sometimes we see a lot of stories and stupid on TikTok. So it is nice to see, people doing really cool things with their talents. If you need all the extra luck, I think Boeing and, well, Lally might try to steal this, guys. extra super duper quintuple lucky 63 leaf clover. And I don't even know if that will help Lolly. A Japanese man borrowed some of the luck of the Irish and broke a Guinness World Record by growing a 63 leaf clover. Yosharu Watanabe, 45, started cross pollinating clovers at his uh, Naishabara home in 2012 with the aim toward breaking the world record. Since the numbers of the leaves have increased year by year, I have been aiming for the Guinness World Records title ever since, he told the Guinness World Records. Watanabe said he used a combination of letting his clover patches pollinate naturally and hand pollinating those with the most leaves. He said his methods weren't always successful. Sometimes the number of leaves can go down, or sometimes you'll end up with a normal 3-leaf clover, he said. We know that genetics are involved in the number of leaves, yet we don't know exactly how it works. Watanabe's prize clover has 63 leaves, beating the previous record of 56 leaves set by a fellow Japanese resident, Shingo Obara, in 2009. He said he was overjoyed to discover his clover had taken the record. People say that a four-leafed clover brings you happiness, so it would be great if this 63 leafed clover will bring surprise and pleasure to people, he said. So there you go. I do feel that. I was thinking I could hand crochet my own dress, but I'd probably need at least $80 with the extra yarn because that young lady was quite svelte, and I may have a little more curve and natural environmental padding. Not to mention, as a bigger, fluffy American, I mean, the amount of sweat that you would have from a duct tape dress, hard pass from me. Hard pass. In our final story, uh, we finally have answers. No, not the answers to life's big questions, but an important answer for me as to why mosquitoes love me best of all the people in my family. Why do mosquitoes love me so doggone much? I think I have supported an entire colony some summers. If you've ever been at an outdoor barbecue or party during the fading hours of daylight and don't personally notice an increase in the number of mosquitoes, you'll probably hear someone complaining about it. That's because mosquitoes are selective insects. Some people are more likely to get bites than others. Okay, of all the animals I could be popular with, mosquitoes have to be the one that chooses me to be their, giant leader? For the love of all that is holy. There are a few factors that could contribute to why this happens. In one controlled study by the Journal of Medical Entomology, the bugs landed on people with type O blood type nearly twice as frequently as those with type A. Well, I'm A positive, and I swear to goodness the mosquitoes love me, so explainerate that. The researchers noted this has to do with secretions we produce, which tips mosquitoes off to a person's blood type. More research needs to be conducted on mosquitoes' potential for preference for certain blood types over others, said Jonathan F. Day, an entomology professor in the University of Florida. But he agreed that mosquitoes do pick up on some cues we give off that make the bugs more likely to land on certain people. Well, apparently my smell says, uh, you know, you love me, and it's an open, 24-hour buffet. Come on in, y'all. Take a seat. These clues let them know they're going to a blood source, Day said. Perhaps CO2 is the most important. The amount of CO2 you produce, like people with high metabolic rates, genetics, other factors, increases the amount of carbon dioxide you give off. Maybe I just need to stop running my mouth while at family gatherings. The more you give off, the more you are attractive to these arthropods. But what separates us from non living entities that live off or give off carbon dioxide like cars, mosquitoes look for primary cues in conjunction with what Day calls secondary cues. Lactic acid, the stuff that our muscles, you know, that causes our muscles to cramp during exercise, is one of those secondary cues. For example, lactic acid is released through the skin, signaling to mosquitoes that we are a target. Mosquitoes also have other qualities that help them pick up on secondary cues. Mosquitoes have excellent vision, but they fly close to the ground to stay out of the wind. They are able to contrast you with the horizon, and how you're dressed matters. If you have on dark clothes, you're going to attract more because you'll stand out from the horizon, whereas those wearing light colors won't match as much. How how dare how how dare my propensity to wear dark colors because they feed my soul. How dare you, mosquitoes? That's all of the racist. I like wearing black clothes. How dare you? Uh, Mosquitoes also take in tactile cues once it's landed on you. Body heat is a really important tactile clue that Day said it comes to play in genetic differences or physiological differences. Some people tend to run a little warmer when they land. They're looking for a place where blood is close to the skin. That means that those whose temperatures are a little higher are more likely to get bit. Lifestyle or health factors also play a role, said Melissa Yang, a dermatologist at the Cleveland Clinic. If your body temperature is higher, you're exercising and moving around a lot, or if you're drinking alcohol, you are more attractive to mosquitoes. Being pregnant or overweight also increases metabolic rate. Why does it always have to go with me being semi fluffy? One study showed people who consumed just one can of beer were more at risk of attracting mosquitoes than those who didn't. Of course, drinking outside is a popular summer activity and even into the fall. Uh, let's see. If you've been moving around all day doing yard work, then you stop around dusk and drink a beer on your patio, you're definitely just rolling that zero in D&D. Just because you might be more prone to bites doesn't mean they have to be an inevitability. One of the best things to do to avoid peak activity times for mosquitoes, Day said, there are very few species that are active during the middle of the day. Yeah, because that's hot as hell, and humans don't want to be out in the middle of noon at 105 degrees. But okay. Switching your early morning run to an after work run could help you there. Of course, this tip won't help you if you're, say, throwing a barbecue for friends later at night. Try to cover as much skin as you can in these cases, Day said, especially areas or times mosquitoes are more likely to be present. I love fishing shirts and long legged outdoor pants that are breathable, but they prevent mosquitoes. A repellent that is a has a good protection time defined as the time from when you apply to when you get the first bite is also great. Roughly 5% DET or DEET spray gives you 90 minutes of complete coverage. DEET is a common ingredient in insect repellents. Sprays with DEET are probably the way to go if you know you're at risk of getting bites. Despite the controversy over health effects of DEET, a 2014 review by the Environmental Protection Agency reconcluded that normal use of DEET does not pose a risk to one's health, including children and pregnant and breastfeeding women. DEET is the most effective if you're going to be in a mosquito-prone place, knowing that they carry disease. This is your best bet. Take a shower to wash it off later and put just a little bit on. Always read directions on spraying before using it and help children apply products following the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention guidelines. While you may have heard candles containing natural repellents like citronella oil can be useful, there is no research to support it yet. Instead, keep the fan or hang out in a breezy area. Mosquitoes can't get around very much, especially in wind. If you run a fan or keep air moving, that might help. If you do end up with a bite, you may or may not be bothered. This is all dependent on how allergic you are to the chemicals in the saliva of the mosquito and can be varied based on the type of mosquito or how reactive you and your skin are to things in the environment. If it is itchy, the worst possible thing you can do is scratch it. That is why we have all the calamine lotion everywhere. Uh, if you do, more histamine is created and it just gets itchier, she said. If you scratch it, you're also likely to break the skin. You can get bleeding, scabs, and put yourself at risk for infection or scarring. There are a few simple things to do to alleviate the itch, like putting an ice cube on it. The sensation of cold travels on the same nerve as the itch, so you cannot feel both at the same time. I'm sure I could prove that wrong. I'm sure I would just be a cold, itchy mess. Uh, Even a drink with ice in it can help alleviate the itch immediately. If you received several bites after a morning or evening outside, she also recommended over the counter anti itch creams with a mild topical steroid like hydrocortisone. You can apply it 2 to 3 times a day to reduce the itch. And the last thing you can do if you're really bit up is take an antihistamine. It'll counteract the reaction a bit, while OTC types can make you drowsy unless you're like me, then Benadryl makes me hyper and feel like I have restless legs. It does not, it makes me anxious, hyper. I hate if I have to take Benadryl. I can't stand it, so I generally don't. Um, you can take non-drowsy antihistamines like Zyrtec or Allegra. Of course, prevention will always be better than treatment. You know, I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there. This might be my most radical platform or plank in my presidential run, but I I will DDT the entire world as per Stick's, general idea. But I think mosquitoes have no purpose other than spreading dengue fever. So I'm kind of okay with DDTing the entire world. The chick who did that, bogus study about it depleting the thickness of eggshells. I mean, I believe that in the '70s, they used to spray big clouds of DDT, and then school buses would go through the clouds, probably while the kids were smoking because it was the '70s. But still, I yeah, I will go to war with mosquitoes. I'm generally a non-interventionist. I generally don't think we should be involved in, large-scale projects, but to rid the world of mosquitoes, I'm kind of okay with it. Again, this is why God did not put me in charge of the ark, because I would have left mosquitoes out of. Anyways, you guys, that is the news. I'm going to send you over to Karen Reed's trial with Broken Baker, and then I will be heading over there myself. Just a couple of housekeeping things. So we will be having Legal Shenanigan Theaters, but Rumble exclusive this week. So I will not be showing this on YouTube. It's an interview that Veilhammer and I have been wanting to do, but it is more content that YouTube would nuke my channel. So it is a Rumble exclusive tomorrow at 3 p.m. on Saturday. Join us for a Rumble exclusive Legal Shenanigans Theater. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys in just a couple minutes. Bye. Have a great day, great weekend. Just have fun. Bye.